This analysis seeks to conclude in a detailed trend forecast for the US and UK coronavirus infections and deaths into the end of April, the importance of which being to act as indicators for the primary driver for stock market trends since mid-February, whereas was the case with my preceding forecast since the end of March. Deviations against the coronavirus trend warned of worse prospects for the stock prices as the US and UK failed to follow the South Korean model. Italy is in full-blown crisis mode that just posted a record 793 deaths, higher than the worst that China reported, even though the numbers are fake. However, where Italy is concerned, it's not all bad news, as momentum in the rate of new infections has been slowing for some time, which suggests that by early April, Italy's rate of infection should have started to flatten out at about 130,000 infected. So whilst there is a lot more pain to come, i.e. Italy's infection numbers are likely set to double once more, nevertheless there is light at the end of Italy's dark tunnel. Still, Italy's case fatality rate of 9% is shockingly high, i.e. implies to expect over 12,500 deaths, and it remains to be seen to what extent the CFR could worsen yet, given that Italy's healthcare system, already being overwhelmed, let alone potentially face more than a doubling of the number of infected by mid-April. So, Italy is a warning of what to expect if a nation does not act quickly to contain and manage outbreaks South Korea style, the consequences of which are severe panic actions are implemented to halt the pandemic, such as shutting down the whole nation, and that there is a lag of about 2 weeks between measures taken and results in slowing the progression of a parabolic pandemic. Thus, Italy's total lockdown actions this week will manifest in April, by which time the total infected in Italy could reach 130,000 before starting to flatten out towards 140,000. Thus, the big question mark is, can the US and UK avoid becoming Italy 2.0? For both have been very slow in acting, where the UK 2 weeks from now could see a CFR of 9% and the US 4 weeks from now, or with the Advance Warning Act to pull off a miracle by resolving towards South Korea's 1%. So far, rather than being the norm, it's turning out to be an outlier, as most nations are resolving towards a CFR of between 3% and 6%. In terms of infections trend, if the US and UK followed Italy's curve, then the UK could start to flatten out in about 4 weeks' time, and the US in about 6 weeks' time, so around mid-April for the UK and early May for the US. However, in terms of rates of infection, I'm expecting both nations to be at an advantage to Italy and should, in relative terms, resolve to lower rates of infections. For they have no excuse not listening to the messages screaming and crying out of Italy. And the rest of this extensive analysis that concludes in a detailed coronavirus trend forecast for both the US and UK, which is followed by stock market implications, has first been made available to patrons who support my work. So, for immediate first access to all of my analysis and trend forecasts, do consider becoming a patron by supporting my work, because there is a silver lining in this dark cloud, which you'll find out if you subscribe. And do remember to subscribe to this YouTube channel for more videos in this series as we face the oncoming coronavirus storm. The next 3 weeks are not gonna be good. They're gonna be catastrophic.